Today, I'm going to share with you how to build a seamless sales process that has made me over $1 million. Now, before I get into this training, please know that I used to hate sales. I used to hate marketing and I used to avoid it like the plague. But the truth is that in that time that I hated it and avoided it, I also didn't make money. Business felt hard, it felt exhausting, it felt not worth it, and it felt like everyone around me was progressing and moving forwards except for me. But when I learned how to actually have a seamless sales process that felt aligned and felt fun and more importantly worked, that's where everything changed. So I'm going to be breaking down how to actually create a seamless sales process today, what you actually need to consider, and the biggest mistakes that I see so that you don't have to make them as well. Now, successful coaches and entrepreneurs are always serving and they're always selling. They have merged the two into one. Sales focuses on scalability, as without sales, you don't have a business. If you aren't selling daily, have opportunities for people to buy from you daily, or have a sales conversation daily, then you have a big piece missing in your funnel, which is why you're stuck in a sales plateau right now. I teach my clients 3 core components when it comes to sales to make it easy, to make it fun, and to make it seamless. The first piece is to have a core no-brainer program. The second piece is how to leverage conversations, both calls and in the DMs. And the third piece is retention. Keeping clients long-term is key for sustainability. So let's break these down. Your program. You want to create a no-brainer program that people feel silly saying no to. You want to make sure that the outcome, the structure, and the pricing all align with your ideal clients. You want to make sure that you're giving 10 times more in value than you're actually charging, which is why people will feel silly saying no to it, because it's so clear that they're going to get the outcome that they want. They're going to overcome the challenges and the problems that they're currently facing, and it's way more valuable than their current situation and the price that they're paying. The second piece is your conversations. So as I mentioned, I used to hate sales and I used to avoid it like the plague. I hated cold DMs, I hated following up with people, I hated sales calls, and I hated handling objections. So instead, I learned and created a simple system, and I created templates and structures for each stage of the sales pipeline process to make it seamless and easier than ever before. You want to have a system for everything that you do in your business. And this is actually one of the biggest reasons, amongst many others, why coaches work with me, is because I've done the hard yards from starting at zero with nothing, in place to support me. Like, I had no university degree, no college degree, no business experience, no marketing experience. I actually started from zero. And so I'm a lot of evidence for coaches that if I can do it, then they can too. And I've really gone through the trenches and learned what works, what doesn't. I've tried and tested all of the ways. I've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in myself, learned from the best of the best coaches. And I've really created a lot of simple systems, structures, templates, tools to help me in my sales and in my marketing that I just give to my clients so that they don't have to do that. And the third piece to sales is retention. So retention focuses on how you can gain maximum potential and longevity from each individual client, making the return on investment from each client much greater and the cost per lead much lower, right? So we invest time and energy and money into gaining each client into our business. We have sales calls, we have conversations, we send them resources, we, have calls with them, we have follow-up calls with them. Some people, send lots of back and forth messages and emails and so forth. Like, it costs you money and time. So if you can have that client once they've come into your business, then stay in your business, that makes it more and more worth all of the effort that has gone into it. And this is quite easy to do when you have that no-brainer program, but you also need to structure it in a way where people can continue to work with you. So retention focuses on how you can really gain that maximum potential and longevity from each client. This is where I see so many people leave money on the table. I really teach my clients how to make sure that their program is so good that people actually want to stay in their world and keep being supported by them. I have had clients work with me for years, refer their friends, and become raving fans. You want to focus on 3 things when it comes to retention. You want to focus on re-sign, so how to get people to re-sign with you. You also want to focus on upsells. So can you upsell a client from one program into another, or a more exclusive or VIP package, and then downsell. So if you've gone that far in the sales process and someone's not the right fit for your main program or can't afford, the offer that you're presenting, can you downsell them into something more affordable that's going to get them to sign up regardless? Take my client Becky, for example. She went from doing everything and feeling exhausted to scaling to 20K months and beyond through an evergreen event funnel whilst traveling the world and homeschooling 2 children as a single mum. She leveraged the leads that came through this evergreen event funnel that I taught her with conversations via DM, and rarely needed to have sales calls, but on the occasion would have a sales call, and that's how she was closing people. And I met Becky from being in another program. She was really, really struggling, and she had the same things in place, like she was learning the same things that I was, and yet she wasn't making the money that I was. And that's because I was doing things quite differently, because I'm all about simplicity and I'm all about alignment. So I've learned from so many different people that if one thing doesn't feel fully aligned, I'll learn something else so that I can continue to grow and scale in a way that feels good. And so I taught her my processes, and that's why she's, doing so well today. Now, some of the top mistakes I see coaches make when it comes to sales is coaches having a messy back end of their business and wonder why they feel overwhelmed and don't grow. This is something that more than 70% of coaches struggle with. They don't have an automated process and system to manage their routine tasks and day-to-day work. They don't have a process and quick automations for repeated tasks, and they don't have templates that they can reuse again and again. And you might be wondering, well, how does this affect sales? Well, because if you don't have those things, then all of that time where you should be spent selling and serving people, you're spent doing that shit. So that means that routine tasks like posting and engaging and creating content take way too long, and it leaves you with zero energy to show up as your best self and really be able to grow and scale your business. Your laptop, your folders, your Canva templates, and your processes are chaos and all over the place. This is actually one of the big wins that my clients get when they join my world, is I strip all of that away so it's really organized and clear. Okay, so in my world, if something needs to be done more than once, it will turn into a template and it will be automated immediately. Another big mistake that I see coaches make when it comes to sales is coaches actually hesitating to invest in support, yet wanting others to invest in them. And it creates this lack of integrity and incongruency, which is why they struggle to sell. So successful coaches understand the power of investing $10,000 to learn the framework to make $100,000 on repeat. Even if it feels scary and even if it feels uncertain, they choose to trust themselves. They know that it will cost them more to figure it out on their own and guess their way through trying to piece everything together. They don't focus on the cost, they focus on what they gain, okay? This is what is key. You don't want to focus on what something's going to cost you. You want to focus on what are you actually going to gain from it, okay? Successful coaches know that what they invest comes back to them tenfold, and this is a belief that I've held with me for years, and it's truly supported me, and it's completely true. I've made about $1.5 million. I certainly haven't invested $1.5 million, right? A small fraction of that I've invested, but I have consistently invested, and I've always had a coach, every single step of the way, and sometimes multiple for different areas. And that is why I have the business and the life that I have today. So successful coaches understand from an energetics perspective that if they want people to invest in them, then they also need to invest in themselves to practice what they preach and be in integrity with what they say. And a really great quote that I once read that I often share is that not all athletes have a coach, but all Olympians do. So if you want to be the best of the best, then you actually need to do what the best of the best do, okay? And that's invest in yourself. And so if you're wondering, well, how does this help with sales? Because you become more of an embodiment of what it is you want, right? I don't know any coaches that make all of this money and they don't invest in themselves. I just don't know of it. I don't know of a single business, like even outside of the coaching industry. If you're a product-based business, you don't make any money unless you first invest in the product. In the coaching industry, we are the product. You have to invest in yourself. Just like every other business out there, they invest in order to make a return. So this is my sales strategy. I have a full process from start to finish that I teach my clients, from when someone becomes a lead to how to nurture them and then how to convert them, how to follow up with them if need be, and how to do this whole process in a really aligned way. I have a full funnel, and I love it so much, and it's just made sales so enjoyable. If you want to learn what this full process is, then I want to invite you to book a free roadmap call with me. I have limited spots available because I personally take these calls, and I dive deep into your business, and I assess, where you're going wrong, what your blind spots are, and what you can actually do to get out of a sales plateau and start scaling your business sustainably. So if you're a female coach, you're ambitious, you listen to this podcast, and you really want to master your sales, but you also want to master running events and your marketing and your mindset so that you can grow and scale your business, then I want to invite you to book this roadmap call with me. Click the link in the show notes to find a time that works for you using my availability. And if there's spots available, then I would love to support you. Hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I'll speak to you next week. If you enjoyed this episode and want my help to scale your coaching business much faster, then I want to invite you to join Scale School, the 12-month mastermind for ambitious female coaches ready to scale their business to 30K months and beyond the simple, sustainable way. Scale School is the only way to work with me. So if you'd like to learn more and see if this mastermind is for you, simply click the link in the show notes or come DM me at Sofia Rose Bernardi on Instagram to chat. Until next time, take care.